Helen is Executive Director of Organisational Development of Human Resources at Telstra. She has a lot of experience in senior HR roles. Her first HR directorship in South Africa was followed by a regional and global OD role in Asia Pacific and the UK, with a move to Australasia in 2004. So global experience, widely travelled. And she's held the position with Telstra since 2011 and has recently taken on responsibility for leading Telstra's Future Way of Working initiatives. And many of you would know about these because last year in, I think it was August or September, David Thodey announced that in fact at Telstra all positions were flexible. So in other words, the onus is now on saying that all positions in fact are flexible, so you need to prove the other way around. And Helen is here to talk about that, and both Helen and Troy have really provided an absolutely excellent case study also, which I commend to you to read after this. So over to you, Helen.
Thank you. I will say one of the advantages of working with change is when you have a CEO who, as a change management strategy, likes to go live with the deadline about 6 months before it's actually due. So there is no turning back from that commitment. So it's a strategy I've watched him use frequently. So hi, my name is Helen, and I just would like to say at the beginning, in the principle of if you're the doctor at the barbecue, many of you will be Telstra customers. I hope all of you are Telstra customers. And should there be absolutely anybody in the room who has any unresolved issue with Telstra, please feel free to come to Troy and myself at the end of this session, and we will escalate that for resolution for you, business or personal.
I thought you were going to say sequence.
No, business or
You're
personal.
escalating your internet bank.
So we do make that commitment whenever we speak at events. So for us, I think these changes are really interesting. I love Jacobina's position of the workplace, the technology, and the actual work design. And so in my capacity as being executive sponsor on Future Ways of Working, that is genuinely my portfolio. So we're going to come into this conversation today from the position of all roles flex. So we're going to talk about work and how we're trying to explore work differently. But in parallel with that, the conversation for us goes, well, if every job is done flexibly, what technology enablement makes that possible, efficient, powerful, and exciting? And so what does that mean the place of work becomes necessary for or most useful for? And so your perceptions about the role of space and property location become quite different. And so you could enter that conversation, I think, at any point. So we've learned a lot from the Commonwealth experience. And for us, of course, one of the key differentiators that we bring into the mix is the technology component. So we sell this to many of you, we sell this capability, and a little bit like the cobbler's children's shoes, it's time to make some investment in our own people and make sure that what we do inside, as Philippe says, is representative of the relationship we want to have with customers. So that's really the journey that we're on. And there are lots of other pieces of the puzzle that we can talk to if those questions come up. But as of yesterday, as I said, 31st of March marks a really important day for us. It is the day when in Telstra we can now officially say that absolutely every job can be done flexibly. And that is an incredibly powerful, it's a very proud day, particularly proud for people like Troy who've walked that journey from when that idea was just a little star in the sky. So it's a very proud day, but I think what's equally interesting about this idea is that it's an organisation that isn't an organisation of just knowledge workers. It isn't an organisation of white-collar people located in buildings. We have as many guys out in vans, laying cable, fixing pits, remediating pits, dealing with NBN, requirements out in the field, as we have people on phones or on live chat dealing with your needs 24/7, etc. So the requirements of the workforce and the worker types are very different. The reality is, though, that in some ways the ask was perhaps not quite as big as it sounds, because for any organisation that's managing work across multiple geographies, you're kind of doing it anyway. How do I know if you're sitting in your office in Melbourne or if you're in fact taking this call in the kitchen? I don't. What I know is that you're on this call and we're having a virtual meeting anyway. So I think there are a number of things that we've learned as we've gone along about the assumptions we make about place, about location, about co-location of people that we've really been able to challenge as we've gone into this conversation. So how do we do it? clearly we don't run an organisation where every kind of flexibility can be equally available to every role. We do have work that needs to be geographically located, we do have work that needs to be customer facing, we do have work that needs to be done at certain hours of the day. So the way that we do this is we say very simply that we work flexibly at Telstra. Talk to us about how this job could be flexible for you. And that has, by definition, removed from us the need to engineer for 14,000 possible flexibility arrangements that any potential employee might need to bring into the mix. What it's done instead is it has certainly put the onus into the relationship between an individual and line manager, or individual and potential line manager, to have a conversation, to get to know each other, to understand the requirements of the work, and to understand what matters to that individual, and to find an arrangement that is mutually beneficial. And so for us, the reasons for request for flexibility are reason agnostic. Line managers are required to approve unless they can demonstrate a significant business impact of the flexibility not playing through. And it has completely changed the nature of the conversation that we're having inside the organisation, as you can imagine. So we've begun this with a very significant pilot. We went where there was courage. We went there first and we went there big. And as a consequence, we were able to pilot in an organisation that was representative of a wide mix of the requirements of the business, and therefore build the credibility for how it could be made to work. And over the last 6 months, we've progressively migrated our business units onto this platform until, as of yesterday, we can proudly say that every job can be done in this way.